The birth of the British Empire, 1497–1600s. The roots of the British Empire can be traced to the late 15th and early 16th centuries, when England, inspired by the Age of Exploration, began to look outward. In 1497, John Cabot, an Italian explorer under the English flag, sailed to North America, marking one of England's earliest overseas ventures. By the late 16th century, during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I, England had begun to challenge Spanish and Portuguese dominance in global exploration. Privateers like Sir Francis Drake attacked Spanish fleets, and trading companies, such as the East India Company, 1600, were established to exploit commercial opportunities overseas. The early colonies and expansion, 1600s–1700s. The 17th century marked the empire's early territorial expansion. Colonies were established in the Americas, beginning with Jamestown, Virginia, in 1607, followed by settlements in the Caribbean and the establishment of trading posts in Africa and India. The triangular trade between Africa, the Americas, and Europe became central to Britain's wealth. Enslaved Africans were transported to work on sugar and tobacco plantations in the Americas, enriching British merchants and fueling the empire's growth. By the late 17th century, England had emerged as a dominant naval power, securing its position as a key player in global trade. The 18th century saw the British Empire grow through a combination of military conquest, economic exploitation, and strategic alliances. The victory in the 7 Years' War, 1756–1763, against France secured Canada, India, and key Caribbean territories for Britain. This period also marked the beginning of the British Raj in India, which would become the jewel in the crown of the empire. However, not all conquests were permanent. The loss of the American colonies following the American Revolution, 1775–1783, was a significant blow, but Britain quickly redirected its focus to other parts of the world, including Africa, Asia, and Australia. Victorian era and the height of the empire, 1800s. The 19th century, under the reign of Queen Victoria, was the golden age of the British Empire. The Industrial Revolution transformed Britain into the workshop of the world, providing the technological and economic means to expand its global influence. In this period, Britain seized vast territories in Africa, the Middle East, and the Pacific. The empire's expansion was often justified by the ideology of the white man's burden, a paternalistic belief in the superiority of European civilization and a duty to civilize colonized peoples. Railways, telegraphs, and modern infrastructure were introduced in colonies, but these developments often served British interests rather than local populations. The 20th century brought increasing challenges to the British Empire. World War I, 1914–1918, and World War II, 1939–1945, drained British resources and weakened its grip on its colonies. The rise of nationalist movements across the empire, from India to Africa, signaled the beginning of the end. In 1947, India gained independence, marking a pivotal moment in the empire's decline. Over the following decades, other colonies followed suit, achieving independence through negotiations or armed struggle. By the 1960s, the British Empire had largely been dismantled, giving way to the modern Commonwealth of Nations, a voluntary association of former colonies. The British Empire left a profound legacy, both positive and negative. Its global influence shaped modern systems of governance, trade, education, and law. English became a global lingua franca, and British institutions, such as parliamentary democracy, were adopted worldwide. However, the empire's history is also marked by exploitation, inequality, and violence. The transatlantic slave trade, the suppression of indigenous cultures, and the economic exploitation of colonies are stark reminders of the empire's darker side. The British Empire was a monumental force in shaping the modern world. Its history is a story of ambition, conquest, and complexity, filled with triumphs and tragedies. While the empire no longer exists, its impact remains deeply embedded in the cultural, political, and economic fabric of the world today. This history invites reflection on the power of empires, the cost of domination, and the enduring quest for justice and equality in the post-imperial world.